Good morning, everyone. This is Nancy Novick with Trading for Freedom. It is coming up on 9:32. That was the alarm for 9:32. I come over here to the symbol table, click Options, click SPX, and I like to look at 14 strikes. We're going to be playing in the money today. 3, 4, 5. Let's come over here. And the money would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made up some trading rules. And let's see here. It's in a Word file. My trading plan. Let me just capture this. So okay, the first thing I did this morning was to select call and put strike prices, and not in the money today. Today I'm looking at, at the money. Today I'm looking at in the money. Okay. In the money was 5 into the purple, and both call and put 5 into the purple. Okay, now at 9:36 I will actually start looking for a trade. I'm not going to look for a trade the first 5 minutes because that's just a highly volatile time, and it's just not good to trade during that time. I could be going ahead and checking the support and resistance lines. And I can see that this long lower shadow hit the overnight low and bounced back up. Here we started a little bit before the open. This was like 8:55 with the overnight low, and then that bounced back up. Now, 2 things I'm looking for when I'm purchasing a trade. And when this comes to 9:36, I'll tell you. There it goes. That's my alarm for that. So I'm starting to look for a trade. And the 2 things I look for are a buy signal with a green candle right here. Also want the awesome oscillator to be less than 0. And right now over here in the calls, it's less than 0. The puts, it's greater than 0, so I'm not going to do anything with the puts right now. My trading screen on Thinkorswim here is 5-minute Hikinashi candles. I like the Hikinashis because they're smoother and easier to trade to see trends. I use the Awesome Oscillator, and I'm looking for it to be less than 0 and green. The support and resistance lines I use is an indicator. Yeah, let's see. It's just called SU. Doing this with a mouse, so this is kind of hard. Okay. SUPP and then RES. And it's an indicator that you should be able to find on, on Thinkorswim. The only one that you can't find is been the UT bot oscillator, which I also use. But really, you could just use the Hikinashis and whenever it changes color. But I like to see that buy signal and sell signal. So you can get that. I have a video on my channel that you can go in, and it takes you step by step through the procedure of getting the UT bot alerts. Just waiting for a buy signal. Now, some may say, well, you already have a buy signal here. The first candle, if there's a buy signal, I don't do anything. I wait for there to be a buy signal on anything from 9:36 on, and because these are 5-minute candles, that's why I'm looking at 9:36. Okay, we just added another candle over here on the puts. Looks as though it's going below the overnight low. And it looks to me like the calls, if it goes past that 32, let me make sure that's what that is. I got new lenses on my glasses. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, if it goes past 32, I might think about it. But as a matter of fact, I'm going to set an alert for that. For 32.40. Okay, let's see. And bring this back. I trade the 0DTE SPX options, and I buy calls and I buy puts. So it's the most basic trading strategy, I guess, that you could have. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Sora Uploads. Hope I said that right. Okay, I just got a message over here. Let me see what it was for. Okay, it said the SPX went up. Just clean this up a little bit. You really don't need the position summary, so I just take it off because it's just wasted space. I've got a frog in my throat this morning. I can't get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and have my profit target and stop set up. So I'm ready and good to go. Okay, this one has gone beyond that high. I'm going to get 1 by 1 contract. It fits all the parameters except the buy signal, but we have the buy signal right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy 1. And we've got the stop there, so it's kind of like our safety net. I'm going to, my goal is between 1,000 and 1,250. I just bought 1 call contract. It's 840 here. I'm going to slide it up because that's my goal is between that. So I want to get there. Now, because this is in the money, things are going to happen very fast. So we just need to watch. The awesome oscillator in this trade, when I made it, it was below 0 and green. And then I traded after a buy signal with a green candle. The buy signal was here, but I didn't trade here. I waited for it to go past the, let's see, overnight high. Let's say that. And it sure did. Now I've got this stop that's in place so that if it comes crashing down, it will sell out at 25% below the price. Okay, the price I paid for this was, let me bring the profit calculator over here a minute. The actual price was $33.30. One contract. So this tells me if I want to make 1,000, it's got to go to 43.30. The premium was 33.30. So I put here two different stops. I was experimenting for a little bit with the 12.5% stop, and then I went back to the 25% stop. Looks like it's moving up. I feel like you don't really have time to make decisions about math, so you have to have something that you can go to quick. And that's why in the putting in the price in the yellow box there, I took the decimal point out, so there'd be one less thing. And then I did a mathematical calculation to put the decimal point back in. But it was just quicker for me to do that. So there was a green candle, there was a buy signal. The sell limit is 25%. That's above. And the stop loss is 25% below. So I followed my trading plan, and now we just have to watch it and see it materialize. Right now we're at $410. I have been trading the at the money, which is the first purple bar in Thinkorswim in the option chain. It's the very first one, and that's at the money. I had been trading there the last couple of days, and today I just felt like trading in the money. So for me, in the money is counting 5 up. It really could be between 3 and 5 into the purple. And so today it was 5 into the purple. And just waiting to see what the next candle's going to show me. We want to see if the price rides the band, the Bollinger Band there that's red, or if it comes away from it. It's appearing right now to come away from it. Okay, Sora uploads. Do I watch the SPY and VIX charts for UT bot signals? Is looking at the money or in the money options chart more reliable than the former? I'm going to say that first of all, I have stopped watching the SPY and VIX because I want to just see the calls and puts to see how I want to see those charts really good. And if let me save this. And this really works. It does, believe me. Okay. If I come over here, this was the chart that you're talking about. And let's see. $69. Okay, there we go. So this one is still good to look at. It's a little bit different. I have over here the SVE pivots. And over on the SPY and VIX, I have, well, the SPY, not the VIX, because it can't calculate that. But the SPY, I have the SUPPRES, suppress indicator. And as far as whether or not in the money is better or at the money, I've been experimenting around with those two right now, and I just don't have an answer for that because I'm seeing both of them are good. So I'm trying right now to figure out what kind of market one is better than the other. But right now I'm just kind of looking at them both. One day I'll do at the money, and the next day I'll do in the money. So I'm just trying to determine the personalities of both of those and see how they work and how they operate. This is that thing I was telling you about, that you don't really need it when you're trading options. So it's wasted space. I like to sync at the ladder. Okay, just had a message. Okay, it's a message to buy puts. So, okay, let's come down here. We don't need that. Sync at ladder and chart crosshairs. This just means that we can see what the bid and the ask is. It will follow it along, and it will follow what the price is. So if it goes up, it should follow right behind it. Why anybody would have that off, I don't know, because then you can't really see where the price is going. Let's come back over here. Well, I want to make sure and save this. If you like a grid, always save it, and that way if something happens, your computer crashes or something. Okay, sell calls. I do have a stop here. Sometimes if I don't want it to be a complete loss, if it gets above the price, I will go ahead and sell it. Let's watch and see if it does that. And I don't remember if if you were around when I said that to me the SPY and the VIX are like opposites of each other. And so that's why for the SPY, I look at the call options, and VIX helps me to trade the put options. Oh, where down here is my, let's see, it tells me 25. Okay, I would stand to lose $830 if it hit my stop. What I'm looking at right now is for another green bar right here on the puts. If you notice the awesome oscillator, it follows a pattern. It starts with a green bar, goes through the zero line, then has red bar, goes back through the zero line, and then starts all over again. So it's like this is how they should look. Still waiting, I would hate to get into something and then it changed course. So we've got to have a green bar down here. And what I'm referring to when I say green bar down here, I'm talking about the put chart below zero and awesome oscillator. I should call it the AO. 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 Let's see, Justin, just wondering, why don't you increase your contract trade size to hit your target a little easier? There's a certain amount that I want to trade with right now, and it's around the $5,000 mark. And so if I put in, let me show you something here. With my profit calculator, I've got a thing which is the actual amounts and then the proposed. So if I want to stay around 5,000, and I'm doing that like for the next couple of weeks because I just want to start out smaller and just work my way up. So 5,000 is what I'm willing to put out there for it. And so the trade, when it's 33.30, this tells me I can trade one contract. As I go on and it's more profitable, then I can increase it to say 6,000, 7,000 and everything. But right now I'm just trying to stick around that $5,000 range for the capital that I put out. Now this one has started, the puts has started to head up. There we go. We've got a green bar there. I would, if I had the chance to do this, I would get one contract of this one. And what I would do is, because it is at just the right spot and there's a buy signal, all the planets are lining up. It's kind of how it feels like sometimes, you know, you hear about the planets aligning. And so this is when they perfectly line up, and that's the perfect time to get it. If I had 10,000 to work with, that's what I would do, is I would keep this one going until it hit the stop. And then I would get this second one right here and maybe let it ride a little bit further. Let me find out where it's at now. Okay, I would definitely go above that. Now this has the capability, I think, to really go high. Just because that was such a, like a, it went up, 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 like a roller coaster, down, hit hard, coming back up hard. When they go down hard, they usually come back hard. And that is, let's see, I'm not sure what that message was. Okay, that was alert for the VIX, that it was going long. So when the VIX goes long, usually the puts go long. And this is pushing through this red line, which is 28.33. When it pushes through there, I'm going to look for it to do the next resistance line, which is the green line. And it's just, we just keep looking for those points where it can break through. Let's see now. Okay. There. Okay. I could easily say that, okay, I did in the money again. Okay. I was looking at the trade 936. That's already happened. I was checking the support and resistance lines. The awesome oscillator over here was less than 0 and green. And I made the trade only after a buy signal with a green candle. Yeah, right there. Buy signal, green candle. I set the sell limit for 25% above and a stop loss at 25% below. So we checked all of the boxes. So now we're just waiting to see what happens. Talking about the planets aligning, the next alignment will occur on February the 28th, 2026, when Mercury, Venus, Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter align in the sky. Okay, so it's like we have the green candle, that could be Mercury, the buy signal, Venus going below zero, Neptune, the green candle, Saturn, and, Uranus and Jupiter are somewhere in there. But that's very similar to me trading. Everything just has to click into the right place at the right time. And also, Justin, the further on I trade, the more capital hopefully will be added to the account. And then I can increase my trade size. I started out trading options about 4 years ago. And my trade sizes were like 150, 160 contracts. That's just way too many. But I was trading the out of the money options. They were like $1 and $1.25. And that was just the total wrong way of doing it. It needed to be the opposite way, which was at the money or in the money. And then also less contracts. These days I do 1, 2, maybe 3 contracts, and that will increase as time goes on, but that's just it's expensive. It's like about I want to say 65 cents for the size of the options. Let's see, I have that somewhere. Let me research that a second. Okay, each option is 65 cents. So I was paying almost like $100 in commissions just for that. So they always say better late than never. So I feel like I found the niche, or niche, however you pronounce that. 4 years into it, I don't feel that bad about it. And it's great to be able to give this knowledge to someone else, because it took me 4 years of all day long, every day, sometimes at night, trying to figure out what the right indicators were and the right time frame and the right instrument. And for me, SPX has been really good, and it's reliable, it's fast, and I like it personally. I've traded SPY and it's just slower, and the range doesn't go as far as SPX does. But it is a scary thing because it does move quickly. So I set these stops here to catch it if it goes down. Oh, and sure enough, it did go down over here. I missed it while I was talking. So we had 33.30, one contract. If I bring in what it paid, 23.20, that's what it was sold at. Lost 1,000 over here. So we're just hoping just to break even today, really. I'm going to bring this back in case anybody wants to look at it. It's been my trading plan for last couple of days. I had a bad loss last week, but I just dusted myself off, get back up again. And I just told myself I can't have any more losses like that. It was a big loss. So I have devised this trading plan that's been in my head all of the time. But when you have something in your head and you're faced with stressful situations, sometimes things get a little cloudy and you don't always think of everything. So I recommend to write down what your trading plan is and put check boxes, and religiously do that every single day and don't deviate from it, because it's when you deviate is you lose money. Now, I feel pretty good about this trade because I followed my trading plan. The only thing, when I look at these Bollinger Bands, I like to look at them sometimes, but you see how the upper wick here punctured that red line? That's an indication that we don't want to get in that one right now. And the next candle, it came down. So those are things now, looking back, I see that could have been done differently. The puts over here, I've got a red candle. And a sell signal. Okay, if this one hits the stop, it's 640. So that'd be a loss of 600. So that's significant. So this is why I rethink sometimes y'all got to bear with me. I'm 65 and my memory sometimes goes. what I was saying is about the stops is, well, the stop, it's very important to have them. Yes, I have gotten stopped out, so to speak, quite a few times before, and they were trades that ended up winning. But if you don't have a stop, it could just crash down and hit the pavement, and it'd be a bad thing. Now I see a green, well, it looks like a doji right now, forming over in calls. Now this could be one of those fake out things where it comes down here like it's going to go down, but then it's green here and it goes back up. So we'll kind of see what happens to that. Having the stops, though, is a good thing, even though you might get stopped out. Hey, my pen is working today. Let's see. If this were to go its normal course, it would do like this. Then there would be a green candle forming, and that's where you want to enter, right there. But like I said, it could fake out, and then this be green right here. Then that's a green, then that's a green. It's really hard to draw with a mouse, so I apologize. Then it switches. Just keeps going down. So that's where the awesome oscillator, where it heads. And we have a perfect example of that over here. That's what happened here. Okay, that was, let's see that again. That was a sell for puts. And that was a buy on the calls. So it's headed back up again. So let me get rid of this. It had two scenarios that it could go, and this is the one. Okay, we just sold out on puts. So all the time when I'm looking at this chart, I'm thinking I want something, I want an awesome oscillator that's below 0, as that's in the plan here. I also want to see the support resistance lines, very definite, and see if it cracks any. And just want to look at the buy and sell signals. I have it ring a bell when there's a buy signal, but I don't really have anything down here for the awesome oscillator. So I'm mainly looking at the awesome oscillator a lot of the time, or the AO. Okay, it's just cracked through the overnight high. And that's a bullish thing to do. I'm only taking these 2 trades today, though. I'm not doing any more, but what I do is I put in an alert, and that shows up as a yellow line. And I know when it hits that alert that it's the same thing. So I'm not trading anymore because I'm trying to treat this as a real trade situation. And even though it's a paper trade, this is how I would follow it in a real trade. And I gave this scenario over here because a lot of times when you buy and sell on the call, then the puts, you can do the opposite. But here it didn't work out. So mainly stick with one thing and that one thing only. Okay, Justin, I think every one of us trading options has experienced blowing up an account. I've done several. But yes, having rules is a good thing. Oh, Justin, I have blown up so many accounts. It's not even funny. And every time that I do blow up one, I get a little bit closer because I work harder and I spend more time trying to find the right settings and everything. So, yes, I've blown up quite a few. It's just, that's the beast in options. It just happens. Right off the bat, I can count 5. But every time I just go back and I position down. And that's why right now I'm just trading one contract. This call candle is going through the overnight high. That's very significant. I would buy that. I would buy one contract of that at 30.50. If I go in and type 30.50, this is my profit calculator. Okay, 41 would get me $1,050. So let me go to 41. It won't even go up that high. Let's see. Okay, 41. So when it hits this, the yellow line, it will have made money on this trade right here. Let me go ahead and mark it with the yellow line also. Okay. But there is one thing that I do consistently every single day for at least an hour, most of the time more than that, is I will back test. And you can back test by going to the on-demand feature of Thinkorswim. And a lot of other softwares have back testing too. I use TradeZella to keep all of my trades and to learn from them. They've got a very good website that lets you analyze. And you can do back testing on that one, I believe, yes. And they call it replay. And TradingView calls it replay also. But I really do like the on-demand feature of Thinkorswim, because you can select any day from any year and go back and see how things went. And I like to go back on days when there's news and see what happened. And it's phenomenal what happens sometimes. Really fast too. Really, things happen fast. And a lot of people say, well, why do you do 0DTE SPX options? I like 0DTE because it's like day trading, and I enjoy day trading. And it happens quick, sometimes within seconds and minutes. The longest has been like a couple of hours. And it allows me to then get away from the computer and go do something else. And I've been taking cold medicine, so my throat is very dry, so I apologize. Okay. If you look over here in the calls, it came up, hit that resistance. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm going to highlight the blue dots again. Maybe. Well, anyway, if you can see, the real body did not go through the overnight high, just the wick. The wick, what it does is it says, okay, this is a possibility. When the real body goes through, it says, okay, this is going to happen. And here, the real body went on at about right there, 29.73. Let me plug that in. Okay, 39.73. So that didn't meet the high. So 39.73 was 1,000, and then 37. So it's got about 2 more to go. 39. So the full body going through the overnight high, that's a bullish thing. And the fact that this has dropped down below the blue dotted line tells me that this is fading. But I do have a green candle. I call it a candle. It's not a candle, it's a bar. Excuse me. So I do have a green bar here on the AO. So that's a good thing to see that, because what will happen is, that's what I predicted would happen, is it will come down here, touch, and then head back on up. I think it's going to burst through this overnight high and continue to go up. And we've got the volume zone oscillator, just tells me this is gaining momentum down here. So let's look. I think when I learned about trend lines and support and resistance lines, lights started turning on. And so I hope that happens with you. And I started looking at trend lines on TradingView. And this is TradingView. Let me tell you what I got in here first. I've got HH, LL support lines. Let's see what they're called exactly. HH and LL scalper. This is on TradingView. And it colors the candles blue for green, black for red. I don't know why they do that, but I believe I know why. It's because you can see with those dark colors and light color, you can see the outline. So, as an example, here we have a blue candle with a red outline. What that means is this was positive, now it's going negative. And I've got Bollinger Bands. I've got Lux Algo trend lines with breaks. I've got volume. Volume is like the gas in the gas tank of stocks, the stock car. And so it's very important to know what the volume is at all times. There's one I look at sometimes, and it's super trend. I'll show you what it looks like. It just kind of shows a shadow. But I get the same information from this HH and LL scalper. Sometimes I'll look at the Fibonacci. That's what that looks like. Fibonacci levels. Okay, but on this particular one, this is showing the trend line as this red line. And so it has bumped on that, gone up, gone down. And when I drew these trend lines to begin with, I connected the lower wick when it touched there. So this is the trend line. Now when this candle, when it goes up, if it bounces and goes up, that's great. If it goes below this trend line, that's an indication to sell. So I'm going to have this one ready to bring up at any minute. But here we can see that the calls is continuing to go up. I would not have gotten in this one though because it's above 0. But sometimes we have an oscillator an awesome oscillator bounce. And sometimes the awesome oscillator goes down to 0 and does not want to go all the way. Wants to continue up. And I might, if I looked at this and said, oh, I'm not getting in that trade, we missed this opportunity. But sometimes that we get something called FOMO. I know you've heard of it. Fear of missing out. So if I saw this and I said, oh, I can't get into it because it's greater than 0 and it's red, can't get into it, I'd be having FOMO right about there, right there. If you want to set the messages on alerts, right here I've got sell puts. That tells you exactly what to do. When it says UT long, the UT bot alerts, sometimes they say that, and you have to change UT long to something else because my brain can't remember what UT long is. because there's a UT long for both. So what I'm going to do, let me show you how to do that. You go into Edit Studies. UT bot alerts. Okay, this one says buy puts, sell puts, so that's correct. Let's try this one. Edit Studies. Buy calls, sell calls. Okay, so where am I getting that? Oh, no. I'm going to save this grid. I do that periodically. And yes, this really works. Let's see if I have anything here. That might be the culprit. Alert sound on? No, because I don't want too many alert sounds on because that's confusing. Let's look here at the Edit Studies button. Alert sign on? No, that's good. And let's come down here. Edit Studies. Okay, if we had traded at this buy signal, we would make our mark appear at 41, which would be $1,127. So you really have to evaluate. Not every set of rules is perfect. For example, awesome oscillator, less than 0 and green. Well, we found out that it could be above 0 and be red and still be good. So then we have to look at other things, other factors in this. And One of the things may be this low volume zone oscillator. Maybe having it in the red. Let's say, okay, if it's there, it has to be red here. So we have lots of if-then situations. And this is what I've spent the last 4 years just studying and trying to find the holy grail and trying to see if I can figure out patterns. And I have come very close to trading every day with profit. But if I take my stop loss off, I lose more money. So having the stop loss is very important. Looks like we're going to have a double top here. This is probably going to go up to 37.32 or near that, and try to bounce back down. Over here on the puts, it's going into that red territory where I think of it as like regrouping, trying to get everything all together and a nice, neat little bow. So this is where it comes into regrouping time. I'm going to put an alert up here for 37.33. Okay, to let me know that. To get alerts fast, you just go to the place you want to set one. Over here, like say for puts, you right click, you create alert, and then right here is where you put your amount and then create. And that creates an alert there. I use alerts a lot because I like to know when certain levels have been reached. When it goes past certain levels, I like to know that. So they help me to see things better. Okay. We broke through at high of the day. So that's very significant. It could continue to go on up here and ride the bands, or it can drop back down. What is it going to do? Says I've got one person watching now. So what do you think it's going to do? Continue to go up and hit my mark, or come back down? What do you think is going to happen? Hmm. I think it's going to hit my mark. It's so close, so hard to tell. This is to the point where it's stale now. You know, you got bread one day, it's good. 2 days, 3. By the 7th day, it's stale. So you got to either eat it or throw it out. Right here, we're getting ready to have some fresh bread. We've got the volume zone oscillator has come down into this area where it's just gathering steam. And if we get a buy signal somewhere along here, and go back up. Most of the time what happens though is it comes down and touches this lower Bollinger Band, the purple one, if it's going to reverse. So we have a ways yet for that, so just waiting to see what happens. This is an awful lot of red bars here. It should have probably changed by now, so. All right, now I've got the high of 39.02. The calls right now are very bullish because it has gone through this overnight high, just busted through it. We've also gone past the high of the day. Whereas if you look over here, come down, gone through the overnight low. That's bearish. Came up just a little bit to touch this support line and comes right back down. So we're just waiting to see what happens right now. My vote's on the calls. Justin, if you're still there, do you think that it's going to hit 41? I don't know if you're still with me or not, Sora. Whoever's watching right now, tell me if you think it's going to hit 41. Yes or no? This was going to be awfully close. Okay, so this part of the awesome oscillator trading plan, I need to explore that further and figure out when it would be okay then to trade that buy signal with a green candle. Or I could just say that if it then turns into a green candle, that's maybe all that's important. I don't know. So right now it's like we're conducting a scientific experiment. We're waiting to see if the mark of $41 is met. Right now high was $40.01. A lot of times at round numbers, stocks will respond better. If we look at some of these, let's see, the high 37.32 here. That opened at 25, 25.30, 35.40, 45. All those numbers that end in 0 and 5 are very significant. Things happen a lot of times. So we had it go to 40. That was significant. The next thing that we wanted to look at was 41, because 41, if I bought down here the buy signal, that would have got me $1,127. I'm just waiting to see right now where that's going. When I mentioned that this is the awesome oscillator right now is stale, because these green bars have happened for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And just looking at the puts here, it just looks bearish, like I don't want to have anything to do with that. But when it touches this lower Bollinger Band, that's when things kind of change. So we're just watching for these things to happen. Let's listen to some royalty-free music. Okay, right up here we've got a little bit of a red bar. So now I'm changing my mind. I don't know if it's going to reach 41 or not. Just depends. The volume zone oscillator is going sideways right now, as is the volume zone oscillator of puts. So calls and puts both are kind of moving sideways. When that happens, nothing happens, because you have to have it moving either up or down, as we have here, going up, down, up, down, and then so it's really important to study these lines and just to see what happens when they do hit the red overbought area. Now see what happens. Okay, let's keep looking. Okay. The red little piece that was sliver that happened here in calls, it's disappeared, and now we're headed up. So always go with your original prediction and your gut prediction, because your gut is really important to follow, because that's with your intuition.
You got me hypnotized, you make me realize, yeah. Just tell me, baby, who's up by your side? 'Cause every day and night, I'm about to lose my mind. We're like birds of a feather by design. You know I kiss but never tell. Oh, I just wanna take a chance. The way you move, it gets me grooving on the dance floor. You know I wish upon a well, and I'ma take you to the moon. 'Cause I get lifted when you come around. I feel like Michael Jackson. You know it's in the way you move. You make me feel like Michael Jackson. You know it's in the way you move, way you move, way you move. You got me singing. You make me feel like Michael Jackson. You make me feel like Michael Jackson.
Little mama, you a PYT, dangerous. The way you call my EYE, shorty bad, made me wanna hit the rewind, see you run it back. I'm with you till I DIE, baby, you could be my dirty Diana. You know I'm the only one that you really a fan of. Tell them other boys beat it. You are not alone, I'll be that long as you need it. So undefeated, you know I
Kiss but never tell, oh I just wanna take a chance. The way you move it gets me grooving on the dance floor. You know I wish upon a well, and I'ma take you to the
yeah, so
moon.
baby, here's the deal. Me and you should chill, 'cause the way you make me feel, I feel like Michael Jackson.
You know it's in the way you move. You make me feel like Michael Jackson. You know it's in the way you move, way you move, way you move. You got me singing. taste of heaven.
That's funny, Justin.
Adrenaline get me so high 'cause I get lifted when you come around. I feel like Michael Jackson. You know it's
Sometimes.
the way you move. You make me feel like Michael Jackson. You know it's in the way you move, way you move, way you move. You got me singing. You make me feel like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Justin and I found this pop royalty-free music a few weeks ago, and I just put it on and just let it play. Sometime I will fast forward it if I really it just as I don't like it, but most of the time pop music is really good. I think pleases about everybody. So okay, it hit the mark. It hit 41. Yes. Okay. If you didn't hear me, sorry. I keep forgetting to lower that microphone, but it did hit my 41 mark. If you come up here, high 4098. It triggered though. Let me make sure. Look at the messages. Yep, it says the call mark is at or above 41. So even though it says 4098, it did hit that. So this pop royalty-free music is what I found a few weeks ago. And so I like a lot of music. I used to be a music teacher and taught for 24 years, not just music, taught regular ed and special ed. And so taught quite a few different things, but so I love all kinds of music. So I might listen to classical music in the car, or I might listen to pop or country or rock, metal. I just like a lot of different things. So I love this pop. It gives you all these genres. It's epidemicsound.com. And you can either sometimes have an instrumental version, or you can have one with words. So that's cool. And it'll play. You can find Christmas music and all kinds of things. But today I've got it on pop. But there are a lot of good pop Christmas music, so hopefully maybe it'll run on across one of those. So I'm just waiting right now to make sure that 41 is solid. It's not showing it here as hitting on the active trader bar or active trader column, and yet it gave me a message that it was hit. So sometimes you get these alerts and you have to just kind of wait for some confirmation on it. So I'm just waiting to see it hit 41 again. And play a song called Christmas Bells.
I don't understand when I say something, you put your head in the sand. I'm so confused, are you just wasting my time?
Let's hear this one
If you don't
first.
like me now,
We're going to hear this one first. This is I'm Losing My Mind by Loving Caliber.
say something, but you just put your head in the sand. I'm so confused. Are you just wasting my time? If you don't like me now, I'm losing my mind. I'm caught in the middle. You leave me open, and I wonder if you're worth the bleeding. I died just a little. I don't deserve it. How you hurt me, but you just don't see it. You say I'm perfect when I fit your version of how a girl should be, but I don't think it's worth it being somebody else. Will you ever be satisfied? If you don't like me, if you don't like me, I don't understand. Try to say something, but you just put it in the sand. I'm so confused.
Okay, I want to explain this trade if you're just joining me. Gamnipresent, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Started off and bought one call contract at 940, and I was in the money today. Here is my trading plan. Okay, it triggered my stop right here at about 10 o'clock. So I went over, and at 10 o'clock, bought puts. Got stopped out when I bought them at when the buy signal happened. Right after that, 10 o'clock, and I was out by 10:20. I did not buy here at this buy signal because one of my rules is that the awesome oscillator needs to be less than 0, and here it was a little bit above 0 and it was red. And so we were testing this out, that when the volume zone oscillator drops down, is it then okay to trade if it's above 0 and red? So this ended up working out for the most part because 41 was going to be my stop in order to make $1,127. And this was not a trade, this was just something to see what would happen if. And my alert went off at 41, but here it only shows it hitting 40.98. So I have set another alert for 41 because the first one went off. I'm just waiting to see, and if it hits that, that tells me that okay, you can trade something that is greater than 0 in red. I start off in the morning at 9:32. I start looking for a trade at 9:36. First 5 minutes, don't do a thing. I've been using at the money, but today I did in the money. And at the money is at the first purple bar. Show you that over here. I also do 0DTE, which scares a lot of people, but there's no reason to be scared. Makes a lot of money, what it does. Okay, so at the money would be, and that says that it just hit my mark of 41. At the money is this first purple bar right here. If you go directly across from that, the first black bar in puts, that's at the money. Now, anything that's in the green, not green, sorry, in the purple bars here, this is all in the money. Right here. If you do the black, that is out of the money. So those are not as likely. And that's how I started out, was I did a lot of those low penny amounts and did maybe 150, 170 contracts at a time. When really I'm finding that one contract is enough for now. So let's look over. Okay, it's still not showing. It's hitting 41, so. But I got a message that it did. At 41 is like a line in the sand. Right now it's just sitting right there. Somebody's put 1 foot through and then bringing their foot back. 1 foot through, bringing it back. Let's set this up again. And let's say the last price. Now let's do 41. Okay, if you notice here, we've got 2 red bars in awesome oscillator. That's telling me as a trader that that's going down. And sure enough, we have red. So we think that it hit the 41 mark, but that's just cutting it too close. So this rule about being less than 0 and green is so important. There are other factors to look at, though. Here we had a buy signal. It was a red bar. It went to green. But then when it hit this resistance red line up here, came back down again. So I think what this was all about was very bearish. So much so that it blew through the overnight low. A very bearish thing. Yes, it did go up some, but then it went right back down. So these support resistance lines, they're very important. They give us psychology of what's happening. And what's happening here is, we went through it. We went through the safety net. And then, we picked ourselves up just a little bit, kept falling down. So in this case, this would have followed the trading plan. However, checking support and resistance lines, that is so important. Oops. Just check it. Because it paints a very good picture of what's happening here. It shows these green bars hitting through the overnight high and just continuing to go up. So I'm still holding with this. And if it's less than 0 in green, you have to also check support and resistance lines before you do anything. And you trade only after a buy signal with a green candle. If I see that first of all, the first buy signal, I don't buy. I wait till after that. So here, when I bought on the third candle, that's not a fresh buy signal, it's stale. And the thing with stale bread is it doesn't taste good. So this trade didn't taste good. I wonder if that's how they got the name for that website called Tasty Trade. Interesting. And so then it just didn't fit our parameters, and by being up here, we had a significant case of FOMO going on, because we would have passed this trade on. But this red candle appearing, that's a ticket to get out. And over here, let's look. We've got a green candle forming on the puts, but there's no buy signal. And I had told everyone earlier that I only place probably at the most 2 trades a day. And so that covered this. And even though this was paper trading, I treat it like the real thing. So if I only trade normally 2 times a day, that's all I'm going to do. Because I'm trying to simulate as much as possible the real trading conditions.
If you don't like me, I don't understand. Try to say something, you put your head in the sand. I'm so confused, are you just wasting my time? If you don't like me now, if you don't like me, if you don't like me, I don't understand. Try to say something, but you just put your head in the sand. I'm so confused, are you just wasting my time? If you don't like me now, I'm losing my mind. I will be lying if I told you that I'm over it.
I want to point out something, that it just went over the 41. That was like a fence, a roadblock, whatever you want to call it, and it just went past that. So let's look at our trading plan. It could be that it's greater than a 0 and red. So greater than 0 and red, that could result in a winning trade of the minimum of 25% that I have. And that's generally between $1,000 and $1,250. And this trade would not have resulted in stop loss. It just continued to go straight up. So once it hit the 25% mark, which was the 41, that was it. So that's basically my trading plan. And we hit a nice little high there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the amounts that were lost for each trade so that you have an idea. And generally it's been about around 3,000 that I've invested in. This morning it was $3,330. And I just take this amount, 33.3, and I multiply it times 100, because one contract equals 100 shares. Okay, so let's come over here. I figured that this first trade over here, I lost $1,010. Play money, but we treat it real. Okay, and coming over here, I use my profit calculator and go into like 25.90, one contract. Then up here, that is going to be the exit price, this box here. This is the price purchased, and then down below it is how it exited. So this one was 18.6. Okay, so I lost $730 in that one. Let's put that out there. I need to go here for just a second. Edit properties and tell it to save as the default. That's important if you want to keep everything over and don't have it revert back. You do that. So I'm going to go in here and do and that was 730. Okay, so the total loss for the day, and I usually will just trade one time and that's it. For some reason, I just wanted to trade this particular trade and see if my hypothesis that was correct, that when something drops below the overnight low, it can't really recover. If it were to bounce on that, it would be something different. But for it to dip down below, it's like it can't recover it. So I just wanted to, it's kind of was like an experiment, I guess, that I tried. And it failed, a $730 experiment. But it's only through experimenting that you find out things. And the way to experiment is to paper trade and to back test. Experimenting while you're on the fly, while you're in a trade, that's not the time to experiment. So here we had a total loss of the day of $1,740. I would have liked to have made that in the day, but some of the decisions that I made, I was experimenting, and here I would have continued to see this go up and up and up, and that's of course fear of missing out. So the calls, is what I should have stayed in. I had a friend once say, don't should on yourself. So I should tell myself that. Don't should on yourself, because how it happened is how it happened, and I just really like the fact that we see all these green candles headed straight up. That's positive. And the way the Heikin Ashi candles work, and this will be the last thing I talk about, is when there is a change in the Heikin Ashi candle, that's when the trend will change. Let me say that again. When the color changes in the Heikin Ashi candles, that's when the trend changes. So let's just look, just for heck's sake, let's just look at the regular candles. Okay, those, okay, that's something else. Let me change it. Let's look at the candle trend. It's almost the same thing. We've got these hollow bars. I'm not too big of a fan of the hollow bars, but this appears to just go up, down. It's very jagged. There's not really any smoothness to this line. But changing it over to Heikin Ashi, there's a smoothness, and plus I like the green bars shaded in. So this, to me, this chart is easier to look at, and Heikin Ashi, it is easier to look at because it is smoothed. So I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day. I thank you for joining me, and we're just going to, let's see. I want to answer that question down there real quick. And in answer to your question, Gamniprasant, I guess that's how you say that. I buy only. I do long calls and long puts, and the easiest way possible. I don't do iron condors and straddles and strangles and every other kind of thing you can think of. Rattles. I just stick with buying, and I buy calls and I buy puts. And so to me, having them side by side is just the best way to go. So good luck to everybody in their endeavors, And I hope you all have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye.